Welcome back to the Vera House podcast. Be sure to join us at an upcoming Carytown Run Club every other Saturday at 9 a.m. You can check that out on Instagram at Carytown Run Club. Also in the description, we're going to have a link for you to join the wait list for the Richmond Parallel Parking Championships.
Let's go.
Today, we talk about the return of one of Richmond's favorite little juice shops in the museum district. We hope it's here to stay. We also talk about the craziness of what's going on with the new surveillance state. And I guess now we've got, AI pedestrian cameras and stop sign cameras and microphones recording everything we're saying. So, that's exciting. And we talked about the very, very cool big sailboats and sail ships that came into Rocket's Landing just within the past couple weeks, which was, pretty cool to see, in my opinion. What else did we get into?
Yeah, man, some cool stuff. Definitely. We talked about the heyday of Richmond's fan districts and how it was such a special time if you had the opportunity to live through it, and how we may not be able to get back to that place with regard to what's coming in the future.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. We also talked about being a townie. I'm a townie. Mike's a pseudo townie. We talked about that in regards to what makes Richmond special and why someone like me or Myke would choose to stay here among all of the other cities and countries in the world. We're partial to Richmond, and there are a lot of reasons for that. And we also talked about architecture and design in Richmond, but specifically the absence of creativity, color, and flamboyancy in architecture and design. What happened to all the cool buildings? We just really don't know. And we looked at some really cool photos of a time where that was live and well here in the city. So stay tuned. Check the link in the below for all the information about what's coming up, and enjoy the episode.
Dude, did you see this absolutely gigantic fish that this dude caught in the James River?
Oh, that's in the James?
That's in the James.
Dang. I always heard that they were like weird sea monsters lurking in the James. That's wild. That's like crazy. What kind of fish is it?
That's a sea monster. It says, Andrew Scott was throwing a giant swim bait on 8-pound test when his line stopped. After an exhausting fight, he landed this grass carp, which he says has to be one of the largest grass carp ever caught on this stretch of the James River.
Grass carp. I mean, it's about the size of a
Honda Civic.
I mean, seriously, it's about the size of like a big dog, like a basset hound or something like that. It's massive.
Isn't that nuts?
And like, and look at the size of the boat that he's on. It's like teeny tiny little boat. And he's probably out, and it's nighttime. This is why I can't be a fisherman.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah, you wouldn't catch me out there.
No, this was posted on RVA James River Fish Report.
And I'm not even a little surprised. There's a whole website devoted to weird fishing stuff.
Yeah, we just gave them a follow. Isn't that crazy though? Like swimming around in the James, you're not quite thinking like, wow, there's like a 7-foot fish, nibbling at my toes.
That reminds me of Center of the Universe, or not Center of the Universe. Hardywood, I think. They came out with a beer that was like highlighting this long forgotten natural occurring fish. I'll have to look it up. But it reminds me of that because it was like The Great Return. That's the name of the beer.
Yeah.
The Great Return, Hardywood. It's highlighting this giant fish.
Yeah, now that we don't drink anymore, we can't remember any of the names of the beers.
Seriously.
Got so sober, we forgot the beers.
We really did.
Yeah, I haven't been swimming in the James River in a little while. Up towards this side of town, it's not that bad. I know the James gets a lot of flack for E. coli and being dirty and all the sewage stuff, which don't get me wrong, it definitely, there's definitely a lot of issues with it, and there has been for 100+ years. But when you're up towards the top of the hill, the water is a lot cleaner, and I like being close to like the rapids and stuff. And when the water's like super cold, go in there and do a little cold plunge in the rapids.
I don't know, man. Ever since, and to circle back really quick, it's the giant sturgeon, or the Atlantic sturgeon was the fish.
Was that your
And
favorite beer?
Yeah, it was one of my go-tos for a while.
Okay.
It was to celebrate the symbolic return of the endangered Atlantic sturgeon to the James River. The prehistoric fish, which can grow up to 14 feet long and weigh 800 pounds, can occasionally be spotted breaching near Richmond's fall line.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy.
What did it say? 14 feet?
14 feet long and 800 pounds.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Like, I know I say the word insane all the time. What's that word? Like hyperbolic. Like, I'm always like, that's insane.
Yeah.
But that is insane.
It is. And like, it's prehistoric. I don't know the history, the prehistory of this fish, but I guess it's back and Hardywood decided to put it on a beer can.
I mean, that's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, this is what beer people do, you know?
It's great marketing.
Yeah. Fish, boots, Carhartt.
You're describing like an outfit.
Yes.
Like Carhartt, boots, and a little bit of fish residue.
Yeah. And a hat.
What kind of hat?
Curved brim.
Curved brim. I don't know what kind of hat that is, but I would say either a beanie.
Okay. All right.
So short beanie. Maybe a red and black flannel, but that might be like early 2000s.
I see.
2010s.
Yeah.
Now it's probably a workwear jacket.
Yeah, like a cargo shirt.
What the heck is
It's like cargo pants, but like a cargo shirt.
It's got the giant pockets on the front.
Yeah. You know, it's like tough fabric with pockets on it.
It's workwear.
Yeah.
It is literally Carhartt work in progress, the fashionable workwear, which is just basically them charging double for stuff that they already sell.
Yeah.
Guilty as charged. I've got a few pieces from work in progress.
Yeah.
Stuff's pretty sweet.
Well, nobody has to work anymore because the robots and the AI do it all.
This is true.
You know?
Yeah.
So it's like, what's work?
Ask the dude that found that giant fish. That's work.
Yeah.
He's working harder than most people in the Richmond metropolitan area these days.
I mean, definitely reeling that fish in, but do you think that was hot? I mean, that must be hobby, right?
I don't know, man. You couldn't pay me enough to research fish world.
Yeah. Would you eat this thing? Let's find out. Can you eat grass carp?
Grass carp? I don't know, man.
I don't think so.
I like that we started on fish because that means we can only go up from here.
That's very true. Yes, you can eat grass carp.
Watch out, America.
It's okay. Grass carp is much less muddy than other carp species. However, they're quite bony.
It's not appetizing at all.
Yeah, I don't know that I'm rushing to the front of the line to get grass carp. What I might be rushing to the front of the line for is the reopening of North End Juice, though. Yeah. Did you see that?
I did see that. It got shut down a while back because I believe, I'm not looking at any notes or anything, but if I'm getting the story correctly, the former owner had some transgressions against employees that were not going to be stood for. The employees revolted, and the short of it is that version of North End closed. And then there was talk of the employees trying to buy it. And I think that's what just happened.
Yeah, I don't know the details of the new reopening, but people noticed on Instagram when they had like put up a new profile picture with new branding and new colors and a few posts and stuff. And then I guess people noticed, they took it down or they made their profile private. And then of course they put it back up. And I think this past week was like their soft opening.
Yeah.
And I also don't remember all the details, but we almost spoke about it on this podcast. And I think we chose not to. And it was something along the lines of like, you know, the person who owned it, it actually had to do with like the manager that they hired. That was like a family member or something, and then the staff had issues with them, and there just was some sort of big disagreement, and then the whole thing imploded, and that was the end.
Yeah.
But I'm very glad that they are what it looks like reopening, and hopefully they're here to stay, because I love North End Juice. Like, the place is great.
I was a big fan of the Elvis, anything with peanut butter in it, protein shakes, the takeaway wraps. It was clutch, man. It was great. It was a great location. They had options and items on the menu that you couldn't get anywhere else, which is pretty cool. Like, I'm glad that it's back.
Yeah. Yeah. People love the breakfast burrito there.
Yeah. I mean, there's I mean, it's been a while since they closed. So there are other places that do breakfast food and health conscious drinks, protein shakes and things like that. But North End, I think, was just like, it was that spot.
Yeah, it's just cool. And, I know a lot of people that listen to us, they, maybe just moved here in the past year or two. Maybe they have no idea what we're talking about. So North End Juice, it's like this quaint little spot on Cleveland Street over in the Museum District. And it's cool because, it's very, very Richmond. You're basically in the middle of a neighborhood and you can just pull up on a bike or a skateboard or a scooter. You can easily pull up there in your car and just pull over real quick and get something. Very cool. And if you've never tried it, definitely go give it a shot. Support, whatever the new ownership is. Go check it out. See what they got going on.
That's a good point. I do, forget sometimes that not all of our listeners are Richmond natives and familiar with everything that exists here, that's going on here, that's kind of grandfathered in, if you will. I actually was just over at a local studio, a Pilates studio here in town, and someone who goes to the studio to take the class spotted me and she said, "Hey, I saw you on TikTok. I didn't know you were 41. I was like, thank you, but that's all you got from that TikTok was that you didn't know I was 41. Thank you. Glad. I hope you liked it. I don't know. I can't tell. But then in the same instance, one of the instructors there who's new to Richmond was asking, he's like, "So what do you do to be recognized on TikTok?" It's like, "I have a podcast. It's about Richmond. We talk about history, some current events, and just like things that we think are cool." And she said, I would love to check it out. I've been here for a little while and I don't really know a lot about the city. So if you are new to Richmond, take a listen to some of the previous episodes. We go into a deep dive on some of the bigger, more in-depth stories across the history of Richmond and Virginia as a whole. And then we talk about some of the current events that have happened over the last several years. And yeah, we just try to keep it fun and informative and maybe call out some things here and there, maybe, go on a rant or two when it's necessary. But yeah, we're just having a good time.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we've got a rant in store for this episode. That's for sure. Yeah.
What you got?
Well, did you see this law that the governor, or this bill that the governor signed about putting, we've talked a lot about these speed cameras and surveillance cameras and all that stuff. Yeah. And not to beat a dead horse, but it's only getting worse.
Horse is getting deader.
The horse is, it's been beat to beyond death. They're installing microphones and surveillance cameras into all the stop signs now.
I heard about this.
Yeah, so that's fun.
I didn't hear about it happening here, but I heard about it being a potential eventuality. And the idea, I believe, and you're going to have more information about this, but I think the idea is to prevent crime from happening by basically recording everything that happens in the public area all the time. So a microphone will voice record or record the audio, the ambient audio from multiple neighborhoods constantly. And they say that it's going to be trained and programmed to be on the lookout for things like gunshots and screams. But that also means you might be potentially implicated by saying something nefarious about the government because they're listening to you and they're not filtering that stuff out.
Yeah. Yeah. And, this is a long, dark, deep rabbit hole that we could go into. So we'll just try to skim the surface here. But yeah, the implications are much further than just crime. The thing is, like, it's really just your freedom of speech and your privacy, and people like to combat that argument with like, "Oh, well, if you're not doing anything wrong, you got nothing to worry about." It's like, yeah, that's not true. It's like, look at the other countries that are heavily surveilled states and cities, And it's like they have all kinds of issues and you can literally get arrested for saying things. And it'll get to a point to where, if you think of how the United States was created, it was created from a revolution, right? It was a revolt against the English government, and then they decided to create America, right? Well, we, the people, there's no opportunity to revolt against anything. So it doesn't matter if we agree or disagree. We are the subject of the government, and that's not how it's supposed to be. It is supposed to be the other way around. Why is the IRS armed with $30 million worth of ammunition and weapons and night vision when they're supposed to just be collecting taxes? They're not. They're like a militarized operation. Why are cameras and microphones being installed in all major metropolitan cities? And why is Virginia one of the first ones to do it? So it's like, oh yeah, it's harmless. It's to capture criminals. It's like, really? If you were worried about capturing criminals, you would have been doing that a long time ago. No one's ever cared about capturing criminals, but now all of a sudden you care. It's crazy. And, it's funny because when you approach any of these people about this, they do this. It's freaking hilarious, dude. Check this out. So this is Virginia. Whatever. You're going to see his name anyway. This guy, Rob Whitman, just pretending to be on a phone call when he's being asked questions, by somebody. Yeah. He's just pretending to be on the phone.
You can clearly see that he's not on a phone call.
Yeah. So this guy's trying to pass bills to cut Social Security, benefits and stuff. And so somebody's asking him like, hey, what's up with this? Why are you doing this? And he's just pretending to be on the phone. It's like these people think that you're an idiot.
No, they don't think that you're an idiot. They know that you will do whatever you're told.
Yeah. Or they know that they can get away with it and that you have no choice.
Exactly.
Yeah. I don't know, dude. It's ridiculous and it's frustrating. And as much as this show isn't about these types of things, somebody's got to talk about it, because the news isn't going to do it.
I think, to that point, I know that this show isn't about that stuff. And we kind of tend to really not go in those directions in one fashion or another to avoid any of the negative or biases backlash, because we kind of just want this to be like a fun forum for us to talk about stuff. But the more that we talk about things like this, the more it's apparent that we should be talking about it.
Yeah. And
not just us, anyone who's listening, the public at large, it should be at least on your radar, because it's going to happen whether you know it's happening or not. And I'll be the first to admit that I am willfully ignorant to a lot of these things, because I don't really want to bog my mind down by the feeling of having my privacy taken away or the potential reality that some of these things imply. Because oftentimes what you hear in lieu of something like this starts you down a rabbit hole of conspiracy theories and stress, and you start making a mental note and a mental plan about how to navigate this potential eventuality. And oftentimes the reality of it, when it does come to pass, is different. It's not going to be exactly like it says it's going to be. This is the first version of it. It'll obviously change over time. It may get passed. It may get blocked. It may get delayed. Who knows? That's just how the politics work.
Yeah.
And I like to do myself a favor and not worry about it until it's a reality, because oftentimes you can't do anything about it in between now and then anyway.
Yeah.
But I think stuff like this with the cameras that film your car at stoplights and then send you a ticket in the mail. We did an episode where I talked about that. And I've actually since looked into reports. I think maybe you even sent me something where there was conflicting information about whether or not to pay it. Is it legitimate? Is it even the government itself? Is it a third party agency sending out these tickets that have nothing to do with traffic violations? And the answer is no one really knows.
Yeah.
Because there isn't any information about it. And that's how they like that. So I think it's behoovement, or it would behoove people that listen to the show and, care about their well-being and living in the city to just be a little bit aware of what's happening.
Did you get this text message that says, skip handing over your ID by downloading the Virginia mobile ID app?
I did.
Yeah. Did you click on it?
No.
Okay, good. The interesting thing is that this is actually real. I was like, wow, that's a scam. And me being me, I dug into it and I was like, wow, pathetically, this is real.
Yeah.
So this is actually the Virginia state government. They partnered with a software company called Granicus, and they are a software company that helps government agencies and intelligence agencies optimize their databases. And this is Virginia's attempt to try to get every human being to download an app on their phone. And it's like, wonder what that app would do. Would it maybe track your location? Would it maybe triangulate with whatever you're saying picked up in these microphones?
And this is where we just going to superimpose tinfoil hats over our heads because we start to sound like those crazy conspiracy theorist guys?
I mean, but it's not that crazy because this stuff happens all the time anyway.
It's happening right now.
I mean, think about it, dude. The Virginia app, like, and then they're installing all this software and technology everywhere. And maybe it does sound crazy, but the thing is, I've been in marketing for like over 10 years, right? And when you look at all this like Cambridge Analytica stuff and how targeting and advertising works, you learn a lot about these devices. You know what I mean? Like when you're sending advertisements and how you target people based on their interests, and you're using things like Meta Business Suite, or you're running Facebook ads, you're even using like out-of-home advertising and stuff. The way that you target these people is through device IDs and through tracking cookies and browser cookies and all that other stuff. So, you know, maybe it does sound crazy, but that's because it is crazy. It is crazy, you know, and, you know, no, I do not have definitive proof that this app would be connected to like all the surveillance stuff, but I can guarantee you that that's on somebody's mind somewhere, and that they would love to make that happen.
Yeah. And like I said, if you mentioned this, hell, even earlier this year, I would say, all right, man, you've been smoking the peyote. I think you need to go on a walk. And like,
well, I still need to do all those things.
Relax a little bit, you know, take a chill pill. But
I know
it's kind of hard to ignore when, as hard as I try to be blissfully unaware, it crosses my radar without intention, like without me actually going to look at it. You know, with the ticket showing up in the mail, I'm already a part of the situation. I'm already in the system. And, you know, the thing about the cameras picking up audio, it just gives me that like icky feeling that I could be walking down the street thinking that I'm minding my own business and minding my private time, but I'm being monitored and listened to. I think that's worse than if I knew that there was a camera watching me, because I could duck around a corner and I don't think that they're recording my voice.
Yeah.
But with it's just audio, and we know that voice recognition and pattern recognition in audio files is very much a facet of technology and AI at the moment. It just doesn't make me feel good at all.
Yeah. And I'm just saying, like, you know, audio recordings are only so useful unless you know who the person is talking, and you want to know how they would know who it is if your phone with the Virginia Mobile ID app is installed and you're walking by the microphone and it's recording that. And it's like, oh, that's who's saying this.
Have you ever seen Black
Mirror?
Just saying. Have you ever seen Black Mirror? If you've ever seen it, I know you probably haven't.
I haven't, and I can't, because I'll lose my mind, dude.
You will. I think you would actually enjoy it, but I think
probably.
I understand. There have been numerous occasions over the last several years where it's remarkably aligned with the future reality that Black Mirror projected. Black Mirror has been going on 10, 15 years now.
Yeah.
There hasn't been a recent season, probably because there's nothing new to write about. It's all happening right now anyway.
Yeah.
But it is if you haven't seen it, it's a Black Mirror contrast to the future of the modern world when and if we embrace technology and things like AI. But if that technology was fast forward, already active and built into our lives in a way that doesn't really benefit us, but has like nefarious underpinnings and ends up being the worst part about society in the first place.
Yeah.
I'll keep it brief, but a very good example of something like this is I think it's the first episode of season 3, is that everyone has a user profile and a user ID, and that user ID is public. And every time you go into a store, you're scanned. Every time you buy something, you're scanned. And every time you interact with another person, whether it's in the street or in a store or at home, you scan each other's user profile, and then you give that person a rating. And that rating counts to your overall score. Now, if your score is high, you can live your life like you would normally live it. You can go to work, you can get on the bus, you can take a cab, you can go to the store, you can buy a plane ticket. But if your rating drops below a certain score, you get denied at the grocery store because you don't have a good enough rating. You get denied at the bus station because you don't have a good enough rating. You can't get a loan to buy a house. You can't apply for an apartment. So suddenly you're in this dystopian world where every time you interact with somebody, you're giving them fake niceties and fake pleasantries because you need your score to stay high. Now, if you didn't know this is already happening in China.
Yeah.
Years ago, it was a project called Zima. Now it's called something else. but they did a documentary on how those people in the community that's had this system rolled out are acting or are dealing with it and how they feel about it. And everyone that was interviewed on camera was like, oh, it's the best thing in the world. It's making everyone nicer to each other. It makes being in public so much better. And it makes just going about my day so much more pleasant. It's all BS.
Yeah.
And it's exactly like the Black Mirror episode.
Yeah. I mean, it's happening, sadly, it's happening all over the world. And I mean, TV and Hollywood have always been an indoctrination system for what's coming. I mean, this has happened all the time. And that's why it's important to just unplug and don't participate.
Yeah. Well, we could go on a rant about this.
Oh yeah, no,
forever
we should spin the wheel and pick the next topic.
So as I do, I was spinning the wheel on the internet and I came across a picture that reminded me immediately of the good old days. That phrase, just brings warmth and joy to my memories about being in Richmond at a certain period in time. And these were pictures taken of Best, the department store, in the 1970s and the 1980s. Now, this series of pictures illustrates a couple of things. One, it illustrates the rise and the boom of giant department stores and how they just took over the country. But it also illustrates a problem that I think I've seen someone or people kind of highlight over the recent years or recent time is what happened to color? What happened to flamboyant artistry? What happened to art in construction and building design? So if you take a look at these pictures of these buildings, these are department stores.
Yeah.
And this picture of the Best is people walking in off the parking lot, and the front facade of the building is crooked, but the rest of the building is actually straight.
Yeah.
So it looks like you're walking into a fun house. And the next building or the next picture of the Best building has a crack in it. But it's built into the side of the building like it's supposed to be there, and it's full of balloons. And these balloons are being blown out one of the other sides of the building. And then one of the facades, the front fascia of the building is being peeled off, but it's actually concrete. And on the other end, it's curving out into the parking lot. I just think this is super cool, but it also just reminds me of something that I think we've all kind of maybe not really noticed, is that things that are colorful, flamboyant, and shiny has been sort of snuffed out in modern culture. Art and design is very minimalist. It's very bland. It's very muted color palettes. Now, I like some of that stuff. I know you do too. But when I look back at just even the cars in the parking lot, there's yellow, there's teal, there's orange, there's blue. And every car on the street is now black, white, or gray. Yeah.
Dude, I mean, it's amazing. These photos are amazing. And I think this is potentially in the Branch Museum right here.
The Best?
Yeah. And this is on...
it's on Monument.
Yeah. And this is on the RVA Mag thread on Reddit. So shout out to our friends over at RVA Mag. It's pretty... Yeah. I mean, it's equally sad as it is cool and inspiring and nostalgic, but this, I mean, not to stay on that same tone that we were on, but dude, this also happens all over the world. Things are worse now than they were before. And obviously we've talked about this plenty of times, but it doesn't matter if it's a painting or architecture or design or the guardrails and the street lamps and the park benches. It's just everything has been stripped of any sort of design or cultural identity or artistic integrity. It's just gone in the name of efficiency, and longevity, I guess. I guess the argument is, if you just make a plain square concrete bench, I guess it lasts longer, who knows? But yeah, to be in an art city full of artisans and don't get me wrong, we have plenty of art, but that is missing from the entire country. Dude, you can look at a Van Eyck painting from 600 years ago. And if you looked at it, you'd be like, there's no way someone painted this. And then you look at a painting today, and again, no offense to any local artist, but you walk into, an art gallery and you look at a painting on the wall and it's I bet you'd overhear at least one person say, wow, my granddaughter who's 4 could paint this, you know? And again, that's not everybody. And there's some unbelievable artists and especially sculptors as well. Like VCU has a fantastic sculpture program. Mm-hmm. But anybody who's interested, man, Google Van Eyck painting from 600 years ago. It'll blow your mind. Yeah. And you look at these people like, Michelangelo and stuff. And then you look at what we got today and it's like, okay, something has happened.
Something definitely happened.
We are dumber and less talented for sure.
Yeah.
And it's not good.
Yeah. The argument can be made that art and the embrace of art and artistry, the way that an artist thinks, teaching that open-mindedness and that free thinking that you would, if you take Art 101 or if you take an intro to art, they usually start with theory.
Yeah.
So teaching those people how to think freely and explore and be curious and be childlike and be whimsical. You probably don't want those people growing up and being powerful adults because they might challenge the status quo. This is just a theory.
Yeah. Well, and don't get me wrong, I love modern. I mean, you've seen my home. Like, I love the modern.
Yeah, your home is sweet, dude.
Like, I love the sharp 90-degree edges. I love the modern art. Like, I really do enjoy it and like it a lot. But I can't deny the origin of where a lot of it came from, which is modern abstract art specifically was commissioned by the CIA. I'm really not even kidding, dude. It was during the Cold War.
Here we go.
But look it up, dude. I'm really not kidding. Okay. The CIA, I'm telling you, dude, the CIA during the Cold War used modern abstract art as a form of cultural propaganda. It was a covert program initiated in the late 1940s and 50s, sought to weaponize culture and destroy ideology against the Soviet Union. Promoting abstract expressionism. So of course, this is where Jackson Pollock comes from, and even artists like Mark Rothko and William de Kooning, and all these people that do these kind of non-representational works. They were funded and promoted from the government. I'm really not kidding, dude. Is look it up.
We're cooked.
Look it up. So they did it on purpose because old art used to represent things like religion and things like family and self-portraits and culture and all that stuff. And then they just turned it into colors and shapes and whatever. And again, don't get me wrong. If you walk into my house, I have a lot of art like that. That's just abstract colors and shapes and textures. And I do love it. But I also recognize where it came from. And we didn't have art like that beforehand.
Yeah.
And it's another reason why, if you go look at paintings from hundreds of years ago, they're significantly better than now.
Now I know why.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'm any better for knowing why, which is exactly my argument for being blissfully.
I know, dude. I'm sorry I do this to you every week.
It's I'm just going to be you're just going to find me next week, just completely just zapped of any enthusiasm. What's the point, bro?
It's there's no way art came from the CIA, and it's oh, damn it, I looked it up.
It's just we're fucking cooked.
I know.
Excuse the F-bomb.
Don't look anything up, man.
Well, anyways, we're going to spin the wheel again.
Spin the wheel again. Yes.
I found this picture because and I thought this was relevant because last episode we talked about the canal and how people like to drive in it instead of
they sure do.
Using boats.
Yeah.
But this is a picture of what the canal looked like before it was the canal.
Okay. Whoa.
So the picture that I'm showing Myke is from 1978, superimposed with the canal today. And if you're familiar with the canal, down on Canal Street in the Shacklebottom Bottom area, it's parallel to a man-made canal inlet from the James River where they have little river boats that take you up and down on tours. And it's really cool. You can walk down there. There's a nice pathway. It's right next to the Canal Club. It's next to Bottoms Up Pizza. And that canal goes all the way out to near Rockets Landing and lets out there. The image is of the same canal location. You can see the pillars of the bridge are in the exact same location.
Exact same photo.
Yeah. But it was a street. There was a whole street that ran through there, essentially on top of where the canal is. The street ran all the way through, and it looks like it goes up to, I guess that would be 10th Street, 9th Street. I mean, and then you can see the train bridge intersecting right there. Like the train bridge and everything is still there.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's so crazy to see like the before and after of these mega like construction projects.
I guess that'd be like almost like 14th and 15th Street.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. I think it's probably 14th Street because that's the 14th Street bridge that takes you to Manchester.
Yeah.
And then coming down here, you would go around what is now the canal.
Yeah. I like that guy who posted that too. I see a bunch of his stuff. Watt Hamlet.
Yeah, Watt Hamlet. Shout out, dude. This is a cool photo.
Yeah, he takes some really great photos and posts like some cool stuff, like a lot of cool Richmond stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I see his stuff all the time. Yeah, Richmond's changed a lot, man. Do you think Main Street, as we used to know it, is making a comeback? You know, I know that you used to DJ above Pearl at that place called Vintage.
Yeah.
I used to live right above Sticky Rice. I would spend my days stumbling from Sticky Rice to Pearl to Sullivan's to Starlight.
Oof, those are the days, dude.
I know it's a different time period, but do you think it's making a comeback? I saw where the owners of Nami, which is like a sushi spot downtown, they bought the Sullivan's building in the Fan.
Yeah. Okay. I think I did see that. My shorter answer is no to the question. To the question that whether or not we will have a resurgence of what the Fan used to be like back in those days when I was DJing and when you were working at Sticky Rice, where, you know, if you're not familiar with this time period, I want to say it was like early 2010s.
Yeah.
Right. It's like 2010, 2012 to like 2018, something like that.
Yeah.
So not quite a 10-year span, but basically from where City Dogs is now, because Get Tight Lounge wasn't there.
Yeah,
that was like a college bar.
It used to be called Roxy.
Yeah, it was the Roxy, and then there was like the local, but those were really like college bars.
Yeah.
So essentially, you could start at City Dogs, which is still there. You could start there, get a drink, get a hot dog, and then walk west on Main Street, going down to the next bar you'd come to would be, it's called, what's it called now? It used to be called a bunch of different things, but it's got a big rooftop now. What's it called?
Postbellum?
It used to be called Postbellum.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the next bar you'd go to. You go to Postbellum, get a beer, keep going. The next bar you get to would be Belly Timber.
Yeah.
Because at the time it was called Belly Timber. Now it's called Bovine. And then you would go to, it might have been Baja back then.
Oh, yeah.
Baja Bean.
Yep. Baja Bean Company.
Which is like the big patio where Jardin is right now. And then across the street, I don't know if there was anything there at that time, but now it's a Asian restaurant.
Yeah.
Keep going a little ways. You get to Home Team Grill.
Yeah.
Keep going a little ways. You get to, it's Skybox now, but it used to be called
District 5.
District 5. And then before that, it was like Martini Bubble Bar.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's a throwback. And then you go to the next block, and then there's Sidewalk. Sidewalk has not changed in like 50 years.
Yeah.
Still there. And then the next block, Sticky Rice. And back then it was called Pearl.
Yep.
So you go to Pearl Vintage upstairs. I'd be DJing. And then right across the street was another like little Asian Thai place.
Like a little noodle bar.
Yeah, it's like a little noodle bar with a tiny bar and a tiny little DJ booth, but they'd have like wasabi shots.
Yeah.
People would just go up there and get wasabi shots. Next block, you had Lady Nolan's on that corner, and then right across the street, you had Sullivan's. And then you go to the next corner, and that was
Starlight.
No,
right?
So the next corner was a bar. Oh man, what is it called? Or what was it called? It's called so many things, and it wasn't. Now it is the pizza joint. It's called Benny Vitano's.
Oh,
what was it called before it was that? God.
Was it called Empire or
No.
Did it start with an R?
I can't remember. So there was a bar there.
Yeah.
There's a bar there. Go there. And then now you're one block before you get to Robinson. And on Robinson, you've got Helen's and Starlight and Three Monkeys. And then after that, you got Bamboo. And then after that, you're at Boulevard.
Yeah.
So you could literally spend an entire night just walking in one direction and going to different bars.
Oh, and Social 52.
Social 52,
yeah.
Right. That wasn't there back then.
Right.
But
that was kind of right at the end of that.
Right at the tail end of that. Yeah. But that is where I spent so much time and a lot of money just being social. And I was literally just talking about this the other day. Earlier today, I was talking about this. I went on a bachelor party with a big group of guys.
Yeah.
And my buddy Travis was getting married. Congratulations, Trav. And we all went out to Vegas, and it was like 50 guys on this trip. And I actually knew all of them with the give or take a handful of guys. And it was kind of upon reflection, it was kind of a reminder of how I knew all these people was from that period of time. Now, this is also extends, a lot of these people I met extending to Shockoe Bottom, where there were some clubs that aren't there anymore, like Lucky Buddha and Cha-Cha's, and Tobacco Company's still there. But there was a time in Richmond where the social scene was so alive and thriving that if you weren't a part of it, you thoroughly missed out.
Yeah.
You missed so much stuff. Drama, fun, connections, parties, invitations, all these things were happening because of places like what Sullivan's was and the Main Street Strip, I guess you could call it. And I have been here for long enough, so I've seen it just kind of change and drift and change and kind of dwindle. But seeing those guys out at the bachelor party was a reminder that, yeah, we're not super tight. We're not best friends, but those are people that I'll know for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And we have nothing but good memories because of this time.
Yeah. After you did that speed run, I'm like, yeah, I don't know that we'll see that again. Maybe like in a different form or a different way. Like I guess Scott's Edition probably serves as that same time period for other people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, what a time, dude. What a time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely different now. Yeah, this little thing says that across the street from Sullivan's is a building that's also taken over by the owners of the Jasper. So they'll probably do something cool because they've got the Jasper, they've got Emerald Lounge in Churchill, and then I guess this spot in the Fan.
Yeah, that'll be cool.
I think so too.
It's growing up. It was largely dominated by 20-something idiots. And I think the new generation of restaurants and bars and establishments is just aging up a little bit.
Yeah, we're in a different culture because obviously it's just different not even just prior to COVID, but I mean, just the age of the 2000s and it blossoming into 2010 and beyond. It was just a different time period,
Yeah.
Same way that the 90s was different,
Yeah, man.
The 90s was like pre-internet. And the early 2000s was pre-COVID.
Oh, man. Yeah, what a time. And, it's always good. It's good to reminisce every now and then. I know we like to talk about, the current state of affairs and the future and what's to come. But I think it's reminiscing like this and thinking about that time period is a good reminder of why I still like it here. And I was just talking to somebody earlier today, and that person is new to Richmond. They've been here for about 4 years. And I said, yeah, the podcast is a good way to kind of get exposed to some of that stuff. And they were just like, I said I'm a townie. I've said this before. I was like, yeah, I'm from here. I'm a townie.
Yeah.
And it always gets a chuckle, showing my age for sure. But they're like, the question that usually follows that is, so you never wanted to live anywhere else, or you're just going to stay here forever? It's like, well, I never said forever.
Yeah.
I'm born here and I've moved elsewhere briefly, and then I moved back here and I haven't left yet. And them being new to Richmond, they always have a story similar to that, but from somewhere else. They're like, I was in Oklahoma and I'm never going back to Oklahoma. And I really like Richmond. I was like, yeah, man, Richmond's dope. Richmond's dope.
Richmond is very cool. And I know that a lot of people may disagree, but I would say that most of those people are people who have always lived here. And they feel that there's something beyond the horizon better.
That was me.
Yeah.
That was me.
Not that can't be true. Of course it can. Like people can leave here and go find a place that suits them better and love everything about it and not miss anything from here. That's totally possible. But I think a lot of what makes something feel like home and makes you love it is your effort into enjoying the place that you live, And I mean, if we just zoom out and take a very basic perspective, people like living on the water, people like nice weather, people like community, people like, the active community and having things to do. They like a place that can help them find hobbies. Of course, they like a place that has great food and great drinks. good infrastructure, good like walkability, good travelability, and something that also has things around it to go and do. And Richmond does check a lot of those boxes, you know. I've been fortunate enough to do a lot of traveling, and I don't know, I always come home and I'm like, I like Richmond, you know, I do. It does have a lot of cool things. Does it need help in certain areas? Of course, man, but so does everywhere else. You know, it's a fairy tale to think that there's some like amazing far off land where there's no problems. It's like, that's not real unless you're in the Jehovah's Witness where, you know, they think everyone's going to die and then they come back and they just live peacefully amongst the lions, you know? Yeah. So until I join them, Richmond's fine for me.
Richmond's fine for me too, man. I'm not hurting for another location.
I want to get a place in Bali. I want to get like a little like, or I mean, Bali, Costa Rica. Can't give away all my future plans because then they'll know how to find me. But, you know, there's some places I want to go.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely places I want to go there because I haven't traveled in a couple of years. For my previous job, I traveled a lot.
Yeah.
It was mainly domestic, but went to the UK a couple of times and that was fun. But I haven't explored any of Europe. I haven't seen much of Asia. Went to Japan once, but there's an entire world that I am very, very much anxious and interested to like explore and see and travel and do all that.
Yeah. I would like to get another property, you know, somewhere in some far off jungle land and build something and have like a second residency.
Vera House's Asian affiliate in Thailand.
Yeah. That would be cool. So you're getting ready to head to Blue Atlas, right? You got a reservation there. You're going there for the first time. What time is your reservation?
At 7.
All right. Very nice.
Yeah. Sunset.
That'll be cool, man. Blue Atlas is like, it's money.
I don't even really know what it looks like. I've seen like some pictures of the patio and I've heard nothing but good things. So I'm excited.
It's built inside of an old schoolhouse. And I'll quickly look it up, but it's one of the reasons that it's one of the more unique restaurants in Richmond. Mm-hmm. I forget the name of the schoolhouse that it's in. Let's just look it up real quick. So it's built in a historic schoolhouse in the Fulton Hill neighborhood. Let's see if they have a little about page.
I love a little history lesson.
Yeah. Doesn't really say, but when you go there, it doesn't look like your typical restaurant. It's definitely a bit different. Yeah. Robert S. Fulton Elementary School, originally built in 1917. Very cool.
Damn. Yeah, some old buildings around here, man.
Very much so. Very much so. So yeah, hopefully you enjoy it, but it's cool. It's like an a la carte restaurant, you know, so you go in, you just order a bunch of random little plates and they just come out when they're ready.
Really?
Yeah. Really cool.
Yeah, I didn't even know that that's how they did it. I just heard it was good. So I'm going.
Yeah. Well, the building was named after the inventor, Robert Fulton. It was chosen because the hilltop majestically overlooks Rocket's Landing, Richmond's historic former port on the James River. The school opened in January 1917 to accommodate a boom in residential growth in Fulton Hill, holding over 1,300 students from kindergarten to 7th grade. It originally opened as a segregated white institution. It later transitioned into a school for black students as demographic shifts occurred in the greater Fulton area. It closed its doors as a public school in 1979. And then I think Blue Atlas opened it like right after COVID or like right around that time.
Yeah.
With Rocket's Landing, did you hear? I know you got your boating license recently. Did you see Sailfest?
I saw.
Or did you hear about it?
I saw like little clips online of like sail ships, like big like Pirates of the Caribbean ships cruising around, and that was the extent of it. But it looked pretty cool. Pretty cool. So what was it?
Well, so I guess it was a festival celebrating 250 years of America, and it was all around sailing. So I guess a bunch of
SS Christopher Columbus right there.
Basically, yeah. So, you know, they had all these tall, legitimate, traditional sail ships pulling into the port, you know, the original port at Rocket's Landing. So there's some pictures of the boats here. This is the Osterschelde. This is the Virginia, the Pride of Baltimore II. So yeah, just a bunch of old school sailboats.
It's pretty cool.
It is super cool. And I think, is this a video? Yeah, check this out. Like, that's very cool.
Yeah. Yeah, some Pirates of the Caribbean shit, right?
Yeah. And then they had a big outdoor festival down there in Rockets Landing. But from what I heard, it was a little bit of a bust. Just wasn't a big crowd. I didn't even hear about this. I didn't even know. And I mean, that's crazy because I mean, dude, we're looking into Richmond stuff all the time. I had no idea this was going on until like the day it was happening.
That happens pretty regularly, I feel like. It's like stuff just happens and people do a mediocre job of promoting it or think they don't need to promote it, too far in advance. And then it happens and like, where is everybody? What else is going on this weekend? It's like, well, nothing else is going on, but you didn't tell anybody that you were having a thing.
Yeah. Well, as we know, I think Richmond struggles with marketing.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong, we've got some good agencies here and stuff. And, the marketing program at VCU is pretty decent from what I understand. And U of R has a good business school and stuff. But people get these big marketing jobs and then they leave to go to other big cities. And from being in marketing for a long time, dude, I can count on one hand the people that I've met that I feel like really have a strong understanding of marketing here. I really just don't feel like there's a strong marketing infrastructure in Richmond and people just, sadly, they don't do a good job of marketing and promoting things.
Yeah.
But also I think one of the mistakes that was made on that Sailfest thing was that there was no shade. Like it was just out in the sun. It was very hot on that weekend. And I guess people were just getting blasted by the sun and people are like, nah, I'm good.
That's something I've always noticed too. And it's just the nature of, I would say it's the nature of Richmond, but it is also a big part to do with marketing or lack thereof is, and I was asking, or somebody said something recently when I was just around and they were just like, what's going on in Richmond today? And I was at brunch this morning with my mom and a friend. And my mom's friend was like, what's happening in Richmond today? My mom was like, I don't know. It's like, well, I don't want to chime in because it'd be a longer conversation and I don't want to pull that thread. But I know for a fact that there are dozens of things going on every day. Every day of the week, there is always something happening. But if you were to pull up your Instagram and just kind of scroll through like your feed, you wouldn't see 90% of them.
Right.
Some of them would be paid ads, which you usually disregard because you don't like being sold to. I'm speaking for the audience. Some of them are promotions and flyers being shared by your friends or followers or people you follow. And some of them like maybe musicians or companies that you follow or businesses that do a pretty good job of promoting themselves. But by and large, the promotion and marketing aspect of the events in Richmond is like so scattered and disjointed and kind of, there is no status quo. There's no one singular place to go and get information. There's bits and pieces from one section and bits and pieces from another over here. And you kind of need to be in the know. Goes back to when we went to that event for the Big Dipper Summit at Harry's and we met that guy and he was like, yeah, I've been in Richmond for a couple of days and I can't seem to like really connect with anybody. It seems really cliquish. I don't like know what's happening. It's like, yeah, it's kind of the problem.
Yeah.
It's just, we think that, I'm speaking like the royal we, the Richmond we's, like we think that because we think something is cool, then everybody will know about it when I put it on my personal Instagram, instead of thinking about it from a marketing perspective. How do I make this as visible as possible? How do I include as many people as potentially I can to join in what I think is a cool thing, instead of taking the, like, I would assume it's a combination of like the punk rock approach. It's like, oh yeah, we'll put a black hand on a flyer and stick on a one singular pole next to the courthouse and everyone's going to know that we're having a rave next weekend at the alley. Like, no, dude, it's not how it works anymore.
Yeah.
Maybe 20 years ago, maybe not even then. You have to tell people and you have to be very clear when you do so.
Yeah. Yeah. Very true. Probably a good opportunity to give a couple people a shout out. Obviously our friends over at the Richmond Experience, they do a pretty good job of like putting things together of like what's going on in Richmond. So they're really good. And then our friend, Miscellaneous, she does a really good job of also kind of just highlighting everything that's going on.
Yeah.
And there are other people as well, but those are the first two that kind of come to mind when I think of like, where do I go to see what's going on? You know, those are two really good ones. And then I think it's called Restless RVA. Mm-hmm. They do a good job of curating like music stuff specifically. Yeah. That's been a page that I've always kind of followed for a while, but always good stuff going on in Richmond, man. Probably another good opportunity to tell some people about some things that we have coming up, just so that it's on people's radar. Obviously, we've been doing the Carytown Run Club. As of now, we've been doing that every other Saturday morning. So the next one is June 27th at 9 a.m. We'll be meeting in front of Blackbird Goods. we're also considering doing an evening run. So we'd probably do that on a Wednesday. We don't have a date in place, but if that's something that anybody listening would be interested in, please send us a message and let us know. We're quite certain, 95 to 99% certain.
99.95%.
That we're going to be doing the Richmond Parallel Parking Championships.
Let's go.
And so if you're listening to this, check out in the description. We'll probably have a link there so that you can join the wait list if you'd like to actually compete and participate in that. We're partnering with NASCAR. It's going to be a ton of fun. We're going to do it somewhere in the city. So details to come on that. Anything else that we're missing?
I think that's it. And I think, I personally am really excited about the Richmond Parallel Parking Championship. We talk about traffic on the show quite often, and it may be beating a dead horse, but I think it's just a different horse every week. So let's continue to, ring that gong.
Yeah.
We think this would be a really cool just opportunity for people to come out and do something fun. You'll get to meet us. There is very likely going to be an official NASCAR race car driver on the panel with us, kind of passing comments, judging people's form. As a professional driver, he's going to have a really good insight onto how to get the angle right and how to line things up on the road. We're going to be doing it in the city. The location is TBD, but we're going to be doing it in the city limits. So it'll be somewhere really cool, somewhere really public. And we would encourage you, if you think that you're like a good driver, definitely come. If you think that you're maybe not the best and you don't want to like embarrass yourself, you should still definitely come. It'll be a lot of fun. And if you don't drive, come and watch.
Yeah.
Spectator sport all through and through. We're going to be out there on the street. We're going to be set up. We're going to have like a microphone and speakers, and we're going to be filming it. So we're going to make this a part of our Vera House YouTube series. So you'll be able to watch this and recap it all. I'm personally excited about doing all of this.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's all fun. It's like, no shaming,
Yes.
we're there to, there might be some jokes here and there, but like we're there to have a good time, have fun. We're going to be trying to do some things to make sure that everybody's, maybe some like bumper pads and stuff for anybody that wants to use that stuff.
We'll keep it safe. It's kid friendly. Yeah. We'll keep it PG for the most part.
Yeah.
For the kids and parents out there. But again, it's all for fun. Another example of one of the many crazy, cool, fun things that happen in our city.
Yeah. Well, enjoy your dinner at Blue Atlas. And we wish everybody a great weekend.
Thank you, sir. This podcast was recorded at Vera House Studios in Richmond, Virginia, and produced by Perri Young and Myke Metzger.